Hello folks of the digital parish. I hope you're well. I hope everything's fine with you. Hope you're fit and healthy. I've got a music trivia question for you this time around, and it's kind of related to the BBC in the UK, of course. So let's get to that. Which obviously means we're sticking with media studies for this particular question, and that question is, which band was engaged to improvise live in the BBC studios during the corporation's coverage of the moon landings in 1969. One more time. Which band was engaged to improvise live in the BBC studios during the corporation's coverage of the moon landings in 1969? Yeah, so that was a thing. People were going up to the moon, the BBC were covering it, and there was some noodling in the background. Who was doing that noodling? I did not know this one. This was news to me, so let me know. I will give you the answer at the end of this video. But as I always say, no research please, no Googling. It's just a bit of fun, and you will spoil this if you do that. So just have a think while you're watching the HiFi news. And yes, that's what we're going to talk about now, HiFi news. First up, we're going to talk about Crosley. We're going to talk about a new record player from Crosley. Actually, this is the first of two news items. It's not often that I get to talk about new products from Crosley. It's not often that I actually want to be actually honest. However, this one looked interesting. It has a nicely retro aesthetic. It's not cheap and nasty. Well, not at this distance, at any rate. So far, so good then. The C65, which is what this thing is called, record player, has a pair of speakers with it, some external speakers, and I know nothing at all about these speakers. No information at all. I do know a little bit about the record player, so I'll tell you about that. This is a 2-speed belt-driven machine, retailing, I have two prices, £289 or $299, packing in a 50-watt amplifier. The twin-speed C65 uses an Audio-Technica ATN 3600L cartridge, includes Bluetooth 5.1. The platter is apparently made of steel and it's driven by a DC motor. The tone arm tube is aluminium. You get an adjustable pitch control for good measure. Resonance damping feet sit underneath. The C65 looks as though it's aimed at those looking for a plug-and-play vinyl system. You also get, I hasten to add, a dust cover. You get a built-in phono amplifier, and you can switch that out so you can plug this record player into a larger hi-fi system. You can pick this one up at HMV High Street stores and their online service, I guess, Amazon and Gear for Music. Oh, and other independent record stores, I'm sure, will be selling this one. Now, I said that there's not one but two record players from Crosley in this particular video. This one is set at a lower price, but it still retains that retro aesthetic. This is a 3-speed device with auto stop, includes Bluetooth, although I have no idea what version, and I have no idea if there is a codec of any standard included. Well, obviously you can use Bluetooth to stream through wireless speakers. I think Crosley sell one or two of those as well. You also get a dust cover, and there's a couple of built-in speakers into the actual chassis. The amplifier pushes out a mighty 5 watts into 4 ohms. And I have to say, this one looks a little bit less interesting than the C65, probably typically more Crosley in its sonic direction, with a ceramic cartridge, 0 RIAA curve connections, and considering the build budget and the amount of features in this one product, possibly the parts quality as well. Nevertheless, if you're interested, you will need to pay either £114 or $99, and you can pick this machine up from the same places you can pick the C65. Next, we have an accessory actually called the Simple Protractor. I suppose this is a simple protractor, but that's the name of the thing. I want to thank a reader of mine on my website, a chap named Gary, thank you Gary, for pointing me into the direction of this little accessory. So what we have here is an alignment protractor for your turntables cartridge from the UK outfit Northwest Analogue, created, as you may be able to recognize, using a 3D printer. You place the simple protractor on your turntable's platter, then you align the raised portion of the protractor with the pivot point of your tone arm. Then you place the stylus on the point B grid. As you can see here, you may need to adjust the cartridge so the tip sits directly on the intersection and the sides of the cartridge or cantilever, and they also line up with the other white lines. I hope I haven't confused everyone by saying all that, but if you look at the images, you get the general idea. Price is £65 plus postage, so if you're in the UK, that's a £5. If you're outside the UK, that's £10. I'll put contacts for all of these products, but I'll put a phone number, I reckon, for this particular one. That's probably a better bet. Next up, we're staying in the UK and we're going to look at AVID with a pair of floor standing speakers. Rather more expensive, I would say, than the simple protractor, as you will see. Now, AVID has unveiled the so-called EVO 2, which is a 3.5-way floor standing speaker design. It kind of refines their earlier EVO 3s. It has a revised cabinet and driver arrangement, weighing in at a rather hefty 42 kilograms. The drivers inside the cabinet include a 28mm AccuFlex hand-coated soft dome tweeter, two 160mm mid-range drivers, plus a 250mm bass driver. The drive units are mounted on a rigid brushed anodized aluminium baffle and a rear plate. The cabinet finishes are available in a choice of black or gloss white. Prices, I have three, either £27,995 or €34,995 or $38,995. Now, I've been talking a lot about vinyl in this particular episode, so allow me to readdress the balance and bring in a bit of CD news. This one is a CD player. It's called the C-30 and it is from Onkyo. It includes, and we know how the Japanese love their acronyms, it includes the VLSC technology, which is Vector Linear Shaping Circuit. And that apparently removes pulse noise from the signal path to remove distortion. It also includes a 24-bit 192 DAC. The company also raves about the internal clock, saying that it improves timing accuracy. Arriving with an aluminium front panel, the rear includes RCA, optical and digital coax outputs. Nothing unusual, the standard kind of stuff you would normally find. Available in either silver or black. Price for this one is dollars for now. I'm waiting for pounds, but dollars for now. $349. So I'm expecting something around similar price for pounds, maybe a bit less. As I say, other prices hopefully will follow when I get them. And that's your lot, folks. But before we go, you need an answer to that trivia question. Here's a reminder of the question. And that question is, which band was engaged to improvise live in the BBC studios during the corporation's coverage of the moon landings in 1969? And the answer is, it was Pink Floyd. They improvised a tune which they called Moonhead. Moonhead. Actually, later in life, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd was quoted about this particular event, and he said, "It was fantastic to be thinking that we were in there making up a piece of music while the astronauts were standing on the moon." I was going to make a joke about the police, but I'm not sure Floyd fans would appreciate it. Anyway, so now you know. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this particular video. Before you go, can you click on the like and subscribe buttons too, just downstairs, and you'll find other product links down there too, and you will find other links of my own, including my website, my Patreon page. Any support you can give me via Patreon helps to fund this particular channel, so much appreciated, and thank you if you can. Also, my Facebook group, I have one of those, you're welcome to join. I'll be back probably, well, I definitely will be back this time next week with another one of these. So I hope to have your company then. Oh, and tomorrow there will be a review, so come back for that one, please. Anyway, I'll see you then, whichever video you happen to join me on. Until then, folks, bye-bye for now.